Seom Rabiog.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Michaelandbenjaminspodcast. Welcome back to On Seom Rabiog for the 130-somethingth time.
39th?
Something like that. My name is Michael of Michaelandbenjaminspodcast, and you'll have to excuse my co-host this week. He's feeling a bit under the weather. He's got a ricey tum-tum. It's Benjamin.
Ricey tum-tum is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music.
Very good. Benjamin.
Yes.
There's only one cure for ricey tum-tums,
Go on.
and that is some Corona with the Familia.
La Familia?
Exactly.
La
Not
Familia.
coronavirus, of course, Ben.
No, that's no good.
No, Corona.
No
the
bueno,
beer.
amigo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not amigo. Familia.
Familia. No
Benjamin.
bueno, familia.
Of course, this whole riff that we're doing now
It's a ridiculous riff.
is brilliant. It's a comedy gold.
Is it?
But it is, no. But it is, of course, based on the fact that there's a trailer for Fast 9.
It's just F9, which is on your keyboard as you speak.
F9,
You take a
very
look,
good.
you take a look down there. They're just... the guy literally hit the button wrong.
So
that's the branding.
Fast 8 became Fate of the Furious.
Which is pretty good.
So a friend of the podcast, Shane, who is witty but only off air, said that Fast 9...
That'll be the end of him guessing.
We got him. Finally, we struck back against him.
I didn't feel it necessary, but okay.
What was I saying? Yes, Fast 9 should be called Fine.
Fine.
Fine of the Furious.
Unfortunately, it's called the Fast and Furious, the Furious Saga.
The Furious Saga? I think it's
The
called
Furious Saga.
Fast 9, F9, The Furious Saga, which is a terrible name for a film.
Shite
Benjamin.
name.
It's a dreadful
It's
name.
a shite name.
One of the
Vin
worst
Diesel
names.
definitely got naming rights in that one.
The Furious Saga.
What's an adjective with F?
Oh, that's been there since the beginning, Ben. Remember?
Yeah, he might not know that though.
He does.
He might not know that.
He protects it like La Familia. Ben, of course,
Jesus.
the main point of this trailer, which we saw the other day, is, and thankfully they didn't release it on a Monday, so we actually got to see
We
it
actually
before
got to
the
see
podcast,
this one, Michael.
is that he can't live his life a quarter mile at a time anymore.
I'm a father.
He's a father. That's it.
That's it. That's all we got out of that. Well, that was the teaser, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
The teaser for the Friday trailer, which dropped just this very Friday.
Mm-hmm.
This very Friday, Michael. And oh my goodness, Michael.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's
Yes.
the most Vin Diesel movie that has ever been. Literally, it was like, get rid of The Rock,
Yeah.
get rid of Jason Statham,
Get rid of them.
and let me be front and center. And that's what it is. Everybody's coming back, Michael.
John Cena?
Well, almost everybody's coming back, Michael.
Oh, no.
Um,
That's not a good joke, man.
that's a dark joke,
Very
Michael.
dark.
But it does raise some interesting questions, Michael. Basically, the crux of this would seem to be
Yes.
that Mr. John Cena is Mr. Super Assassin. He's Jason Statham, but if he was American and a former pro wrestler.
Yeah. And Dominic Toretto's brother.
And Dominic Toretto's secret bloody hidden brother.
Ben, do you think there will be any twists in this movie that haven't been revealed in that first trailer?
Nope.
God damn it.
No, I don't.
I mean,
No, I don't.
it could have been a very big twist that John Cena is Dominic's brother because they don't look anything alike.
Well, that is a huge twist.
Yeah.
John Cena is notably not Latino in origin.
Is he not? Does he not have a bit of Latin in him?
It doesn't look like it, though, does it?
Not in that trailer. I have a feeling they've done something with makeup to try and make him look a bit kind of similar tone to...
Maybe it's a foster brother.
Yeah, half-brother
Half-brother.
probably.
Look, it turns out that the man who's been shiting on about La Familia for 8 movies
He had a secret family the whole
wasn't
time.
a great brother.
No, terrible
wasn't
brother.
a great brother. So, I mean, it raises some interesting questions because Dom's sister has to come back into this. Dom's sister, who famously rode off at the end of Fast and Furious 7 with Brian. And
No, she didn't remember, but she wasn't even in the car.
well, no, but like they got their little happy
they got
moment
their
on the
happy-
beach
yeah,
together.
yeah.
But she's back,
Yeah,
which
how's she gonna
raises
be-
some questions.
Yeah, how's she going to be back, but Brian's not going to be back?
Yeah, why is Brian not jumping in here? Brian stayed home with the kids. Well, that doesn't sound great.
That doesn't sound like La Familia
Doesn't
to me.
sound like that familiar to me.
Yeah, what are they going to do about that?
Unless John Cena murders his character
Oh, I hope not.
as a surrogate brother. That'd be very distasteful,
It
though.
would, wouldn't it?
Very distasteful,
I
though.
wouldn't. I'd go,
What a poor taste has been left in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't like it. But
Don't
what I
like it.
did like, Ben, is that Han is back.
Han is back.
Everyone's favourite character only because he's not in it anymore.
Yeah, he's
back.
He's the character we all love to miss.
Yeah.
And now he just strolls in at the end of the film.
Hey guys, I'm not dead anymore or whatever.
Charlize Theron is just there. We have a classic villain in a glass cage moment.
Glass box at Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there in the most kind of marine pose I've ever seen. Where he's like rigid and upright, and oh man, look,
what was the character in James Bond who was in the glass box?
it was Javier Bardem's character in
Raoul
Spectre,
something.
Raoul something or other.
Yeah.
My ambivalently gay Raoul.
Yeah. So yeah, evil character in a glass box. Han just walk in and go, "Hey guys, I'm not dead anymore" or whatever.
Just gives them a little smirk. I'm like, hang on, this is a big moment.
Yeah.
This is a big moment, boys.
So that, I mean, redeems Jason Statham characters in a lot of ways, doesn't it? Because he didn't kill Han.
He didn't kill Han.
Or did he?
Or did he?
Or
Well,
did
he
he?
certainly thinks he did.
Maybe that's Jason Statham in a Han mask, and at the end he whips it off.
And this is where Mission
"I got
Impossible
you,
and Fast and
fuckheads."
Furious cross over perfectly. Segway, Tom Cruise in Fast and Furious 10. Impossible car.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
That's a better name than Furious.
Ben, I don't
9
think it
and
looks
Furious
great. I'm
5.
gonna put myself out on a limb and say it looks kind of shit.
It looks
pretty.
It does look very shit. It looks like a bunch of people just writing it out for the paycheck.
Oh, excuse me.
Nothing about it inspired me. They named the kid Brian, and I was like, okay.
I think they named the kid Brian in the previous one, didn't they?
I don't remember him having a kid. I haven't seen Fast and Furious 8.
Oh well, then you don't get a say.
Do I not?
No, because
okay.
Charlize Theron is in that.
Yes, I know,
That's
but
where
she's
the kid
back
is
in this.
introduced.
Okay.
And
Well,
Charlize
anyway,
is family, La Familia.
there's a weird moment at the beginning of that trailer where Michelle Rodriguez's character says, "Your father gave this to me to protect me from trouble.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to you to protect you from what's coming." And I was like,
little son of a bitch.
You clearly have never had to comfort a child.
Yeah.
Bam, that is terrible parenting.
Absolutely terrifying.
What's coming? I can't tell you, but
it's
something
coming.
is coming.
Also, it carries on the tradition of, in this universe, cars being something that can break your fall.
Yeah, they can't.
No, it's probably worse than hitting the ground.
Maybe glass, metal
Glass,
shards.
metal, the fact that the car is in motion as well.
It's not good.
It's not a good idea.
It's not good.
Don't break your fall with a car.
I enjoy Dominic Toretto's parenting style of "hand me the 6-inch wrench," and he takes it out and he goes, "Are you sure?" And it's just undermining a child at every turn.
Yeah.
And the poor child has to go back and be like, "Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Dad, I'm a real...
Sorry, Dad. He lives on a farm now."
Yeah.
Michael, he lives on a farm because
Yes.
he can't live his life a quarter mile at a time.
Exactly. Look, that'd be good. Anyway, Ben, in other disappointing news this week,
Oh,
one of our favourite comics of the last couple of years has wrapped up.
yeah, it's a real. That was a.
Don't ask me what voice I'm doing. I mean,
there's some Orientalist vibes going
is
there,
there?
Michael. Let's tone those back.
I was aiming at Italian. I really don't know what this voice is. It's just a kind of
So many nationalities,
generic weird
so
voice.
little time to insult them all. Yes, bloody Jason Aaron's run on Conan the Barbarian has wrapped up, Michael, which was a shock to me moments before we began recording this podcast because I didn't realise it was a 12-issue limited run.
It was a 12-issue story, Ben.
Yeah, it was a 12-issue limited
Which
run.
I'm for. I like it.
no,
I like it. I like that.
well suited. It was a tight 12.
A tight
It's
12.
a tight 12.
Well, a bit of sag, maybe one or two issues. But
So Asi Arid, that's not right. I didn't get that right. Hang on. I'm gonna lean over here, Michael.
you lean.
They've wrapped it up, Michael. It's bloody brilliant. It's a bloody great little run.
It's a good comic, Ben. I really enjoyed it. It's my favourite comic of the recent times.
You know, you could listen to more about this comic, Michael.
Go on.
Bloody collecting issues, Michael.
What's
the second
that,
podcast from SeanMcBeog.com.
Oh.
SeanMcBeog Productions makes a bi-weekly little comic book reading club where you can read the comic book. And if you want to know more, Michael, if your curious little brain is tinkering away, you can bloody stick on a Spotify
Yeah.
and type in a collecting
I'll
issues.
find it.
And this is a bloody podcast.
Ben, I have a question. When you say bi-weekly, do you mean once every 2 weeks? Do you mean twice per week? Or do you mean we like girls and boys?
Yes.
Very good, very clever. Very good, clever. What are you doing? What are you trying to look
I'm
up?
just looking up the name of the artist. It's the name of the artist whose
It's
name
there
I
on the
couldn't
cover
get.
there.
It's
Look.
bloody Mahmoud Asrar.
There you go.
Mahmoud Asrar. Who did the art. And Michael, I think we've said it before, some of the best comic book art coming out of a comic book.
It's very good, Ben.
bloody comics galore.
And it all wraps up into a nice little package.
Oh, does it? I look forward to reading it, Michael.
do.
I will buy both volumes to support this kind of art in the future.
Get bloody on it, Ben.
Yes. Perhaps they'll introduce a full collected 12-issue hardcover with some deluxe art in the back.
I hope they don't, Ben. That's not what I'm into.
Yeah, that's because you're a cook.
Seems a bit excessive.
Go on, what's next there, Michael?
That's it. That's all the news.
That's all the news.
We've no news or reviews this week, Ben.
It's a bloody tough week. It's a sparse week, Michael.
We're filling, Ben. Luckily,
I finally saw Jojo Rabbit, Michael. I forgot to tell you that.
Go on.
I saw
Give us a
Jojo Rabbit.
Review.
Goodness, Michael. Goodness, what a film. Misleading trailer.
Oh, yes. It's not a laugh-a-minute riot, is it?
It is not a romp.
No.
It is not a Wes Anderson-style romp through Germany in World War II.
Well, it is.
I mean, it attempts that on occasion. And you were not wrong, Michael. Bloody Sam Rockwell stealing the show across the board.
Isn't the de-aging technology on Nicholas Frost wonderful?
It's just stunning.
It's not a good time to be a Nazi, Jojo.
It's not a good time to be a Nazi. I'm going home to my mother. I need a cuddle. Just fantastic lines. And so a quick spoiler, because I just like to discuss this with you.
Spoilers.
I think we're comfortably in spoiler territory now.
We're going to
aren't we?
spoil Jojo Rabbit. The big twist of Jojo Rabbit is about to get spoiled.
No, I'm just going to discuss one of the characters. I think Taika Waititi does a wonderful job of portraying weird friendly Hitler and then somehow manifesting the really toxic ideology of World War II Nazi Germany for young men, because it becomes such a hateful, spiteful character at the end because it's Hitler.
No, it's not because it's Hitler, I don't think. It's because it reflects the kid's own development.
Yes, it's conflicting ideologies in the brain of a young boy.
Yeah, well, he's coming to realise that the Nazis aren't a grand bunch of lads.
Yes, and it's a tough realisation for a young Nazi on the rise.
And so he reflects it by his evil, his comical, great fun Hitler buddy becoming this horrible, screaming lunatic.
Becoming a real cook.
And it has one of the best uses of their one permitted fuck in cinematic history.
Oh, I can't remember it. Oh, is it where he's... well,
you've already gone into spoilers.
Full spoilers.
Do a full spoiler.
Is it where he's punted through the window by Jojo's mental force?
Where Jojo kicks him and says, fuck off, Hitler.
Yeah,
very
great.
Good.
Fuck off, Hitler. And I'm massively into swastikas, is my favourite line of all time.
That's very good, yes. It reminisced me of the scene in Thor Ragnarok, Ben.
Yes.
Where Korg tries to chase away the ghost of Loki and says, piss off, ghost.
Piss off, ghost.
And it made me think there must be at least one take of that where he says, fuck off, ghost.
Yeah.
Which
there definitely is.
I would like to see.
There definitely... You'll find it one day. One day, Taika Waititi's going to make everybody happy by releasing a Taika Waititi mega compilation. I found out recently how he got the gig as Ragnarok director.
Go on.
He basically made an elevator pitch in the form of a mini reel. To the tune of the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
And he just took a bunch of inspirations and he slapped them together and he's like, that's what I do. And the Marvel executive was like, yes.
You're on.
Yes. You got it. You got the gig, kid.
You weird voiced man.
He's such a fashionable man, Michael.
So fashionable.
So dapper.
So welcome to bloody Fashion Con 2020 Taika Waititi edition.
Taika Waititi me.
He's made of ugh. Don't know about that. Ben, anyway, look, let's stop filling because we're just filling.
I was excited because I saw a bloody film, Michael.
It's a rare treat.
Bloody good. I very rarely see films. Very good film.
Who did you see it with, Ben?
I saw it with a friend, Michael.
Oh, very good.
Sneaky boots. I can see what you're trying to do there. Saw it with a friend.
Let's carry on then, Ben. Last week, Ben, we decided unanimously.
Did we?
Yes. I call it unanimously when I decide something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Funny that we talked about, conflicting toxic ideologies in a young man's head.
Yeah.
Like every week when I finish the podcast and go, I should just quit here.
Yeah.
Just leave it here.
I like there, Ben, what you've done there essentially is you've compared me coming up with an idea for this week's podcast to Hitler.
An authoritarian decision for this week's podcast.
Seems a bit excessive. Some people might argue a bit excessive. But look.
Some people might.
Don't haggle over...
Spilt coins.
Spilt milk. I was going to say something much worse, but I decided I
Oh,
shouldn't.
oh no, my...
Let's move on.
I think I just read your mind. Okay.
Ben, this week, I've left a few nasty jokes on the cutting room floor
this week.
Yeah,
you've been. It's been a stressful week for Michael. A little bit of venom drips out of the fangs when he's been stressed. It's a defense mechanism. It takes a lot for him to tone it down in a podcast.
Everybody just leave me alone. Right. Anyway, Ben. This week we decided unanimously that we would talk about superhero movies and TV shows that which are not based upon original comic book properties.
And I bought Mick a dictionary so he could look up the definition of unanimously.
Yes, decided by me.
Michael Leonard.
Yes.
Yes, so we did that, Michael, and we put it out to the old gang on Insta.
The old Insta gang. The Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
Hashtag
Son
Pod
of a
Squad.
bitch.
So we got lots of responses from the Pod Squad.
Yes,
which is
and
good.
please stop trying to make it a thing.
I'm not going. We're making it a thing. Pod Squad
Not a
2020.
thing. It's not
We
a
get t-shirts.
thing. Not a thing.
It's going to be a thing, Ben.
Go on, anyway, go on.
Not with that attitude.
Wait. How we handling this, Michael? How we handling this?
So we're just going to... Ben, look...
What are the rules, Michael?
Well, the rules are, Ben, it has to be something superhero or superhero adjacent.
Yes.
Which is not based on an original comic book, Ben.
Fair.
So the X-Men, Ben, for example, you'll be familiar with them.
Yeah, they were a mildly popular team.
Yes.
They're still around today.
They're out. Superman, Ben, he's out.
He's out?
Yeah, you can't do Superman. I don't know if we can do kind of tangential Superman-ish characters.
I think we probably have to. I think it's an unavoidable...
For example, Ben, one of the big examples of that is Brightburn.
Oh.
Which we saw recently.
Oh, God. I think that's very comic-inspired in its own way.
Isn't it?
It doesn't have direct material. Fair enough.
But it's Superman.
It's
what if Superman was evil?
What if Superman was a wasp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A white Anglo-Saxon Protestant? I think he is. Isn't he?
No, I think he's a Mormon.
Oh, is he a Mormon?
No, he's definitely not. He's a Kansas farm boy.
What religion would they be, Ben?
I'm assuming a Christian of some sort.
Yeah, they'd be Protestants.
A Bible belter? Is that on the Bible belt?
I don't know, Ben. I don't know
A
anything.
Lutheran?
A Methodist?
I suppose his parents might have had some kind of realization that God wasn't real when their son started bench pressing cars over his head at the age of 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Does Superman believe in God?
David S. Goyer believes in God because he tried to make Superman into Jesus in Man of Steel.
Oh, I see what you've done.
You see what I did there? Nice segue. Anyway, sorry, those are the rules.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules. And we're looking at film and TV.
Film and TV.
Television.
And comic books.
And the movie industry.
No, that would be confusing if it was comic books.
We can't look at comic books.
Ben, look, this is a thinly veiled conceit.
Yeah, look, you came up with it off the cuff.
I didn't. Here's the reality of the situation, Ben. Last week I was browsing the internet and YouTube recommended a clip from Hancock to me.
Hancock. That wasn't YouTube.
Or in the movie he's called Handjob once, which is pretty funny. So YouTube recommended a clip from Hancock to me and I watched the clip from Hancock and said, I wonder if that's any good. Because you'll remember, Ben, it came out in 2008.
This is pre...
The internet. Yeah. No. Is it? It was July 2nd, 2008.
Which is early.
It's kind of Iron Man time.
Iron Man.
I am Iron Man. It's kind of the Incredible Hulk time.
Yeah. It was the last great push of the disjointed franchises. Yeah.
Exactly. It was it came out in that period when X-Men was starting to peter out. Or pall out. And people saw that there was a want for superhero films, Ben. And they started making them. And they started making them by going and making The Dark Knight, for example. Batman Begins. Iron Man.
Batman Begins,
yes. Hancock. And people didn't know at that stage that people wanted two types of superhero film. They wanted grim and gritty Batman. And they wanted the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
A bloody bright and daisical, wrap it up in a twitty bow.
So there are lots of films from that period which are kind of furtive attempts.
Trying to strike a balance.
Yeah, right? And they were like, does it need to be based on comics? Nowadays, if you're launching a new superhero movie, you're going to base that goddamn thing on a comic, no matter how obscure it is.
Because you want those tasty, tasty fans.
Hashtag Vin Diesel, hashtag Bloodshot.
Hashtag bloody built-in audience.
Exactly. But back in 2008, Ben, it was a much more Wild West situation where maybe people just want superheroes.
Well, was that a very clever Jim West reference?
Wild West, Jim West,
because the star of
Handjob
is none other than Mr. Willie Smith.
Mr. Willard J. Smith. No, that was a coincidence.
Looking hench, looking like a big man in that film.
He's a big dude, Will
He's
Smith.
a big dude,
He's well
but he put on some serious bloody muscle mass for that one.
I don't think he gets his top off either.
He doesn't, no, but he fills that suit out real good.
Benjamin,
anyway, go on, tell me more.
Have you seen Hancock?
I have.
When? In 2008?
2008, 2009. It's one of those.
So my thinking with Hancock was, it probably didn't get a fair shake. It probably got lost in the fact that it was the era of The Dark Knight and the birth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And shaky cam documentarian style film work.
It was actually a little bit before that became...
There's a little hint of it here.
In Hancock.
Yeah.
Not
Isn't there?
terribly. No,
Not
not
during
really.
the fight
There's
scenes,
a
no?
little bit of it going on. It is very. The fight scenes are very smash cut, quick movement. But let me tell you something, Ben.
Let me hit you with some
Let me hit you up with some little mini
bloody
facts here.
knowledge.
Some knowledge bombs, the bombs of knowledge.
Michael's
It's
a very
actually-
popular boy.
It's actually not a terrible film.
No, it isn't.
It's pretty amusing.
The ending's pretty rough, though.
Well, don't spend your load on the ending, Ben, because in the film, Ben, Willard Smith, he plays
Willard J. Smith.
Willard J. Smith. He plays a superhero called Hancock.
Hancock. Yes.
Hancock, yes, and he's a drunk and a bum.
Yes, he's bloody having a tough old time.
Yeah, and he makes a mess every time he does the superheroes.
Yes.
But I tell you what, the opening scene where he gets woken up on a bench by a kid to go and stop a bank robbery, or actually catch some
real bad blokes.
catch some guys in a white Bronco cruising down the freeway. It's one of the best depictions of superhero flying, and
Just how difficult that would actually
it's just really good. The scene where he catches them and all of his destruction and his powers and stuff are really strong depictions
You
of superhero
really
power.
enjoy 2008's
I
hand
really
job.
enjoyed 2008's hand job. One of the best hand jobs. I really enjoyed. Here's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed Will Smith. He's good. He's not playing Will Smith. He's playing a mean Will Smith with a scraggly beard.
which is challenging his charismatic persona.
Mm.
He's not likable in this film.
No, he's not. And we'll get on to that in a minute. I really enjoyed the powers. He is accidentally enormously destructive, which is kind of
Completely
cool.
by mistake.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, and it seems to be the main point of it. I really enjoyed the superhero going to prison and kind of staying in prison, even though he could just casually walk out if he
He's
wanted
trying to rehabilitate himself, Michael.
He's trying to rehabilitate his image,
Yes.
and I really like his character arc
It's
in
a very-
the first part of the film.
It's a very LA superhero film.
It is. And that's another thing that's interesting about this kind of era of superhero films. A lot of them are set in and around LA, moving away from the traditional New York superhero.
Yes.
Because New York is overpopulated.
It's got a lot of Spoodermans.
Think about it, Ben. Where did Marvel move Iron Man to in 2008?
Bloody LA.
They're like, LA needs a superhero.
LA
New
needs a
York's
bloody
popping them
superhero.
all.
Who would enjoy some pills, some booze, and some bloody mechanized suits?
Willard Smith.
Willard Smith. Two things stick out to me from that, Michael. It's bizarrely quite fresh in my mind. I have quite a good recollection of the film Handjob, starring Willard J. Smith.
You're sticking with this, aren't you? You're going to make it work.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fine. This episode's called Handy J's.
Oh, no.
And the two scenes are bloody orgasm explosion,
Yes, that's pretty amusing.
where the poor young lady gets bolted to the ceiling.
She doesn't. He pushes her off at the last
Oh,
minute.
and he shoots through
he
the
shoots
ceiling.
through the ceiling. He
He
shoots his load
can't.
through the
He
ceiling.
can't finish inside. You see, it's a
And
whole
then
thing.
she escapes through the window and runs off, and he's a bit
yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
She was very gamey, though.
She
She came after him big style.
Oh no, she thirsty. I believe the kids
That's
say
what they
these
would say
days,
now.
Michael.
Yeah,
Thirsty.
they wouldn't back then.
She was game in 2008. She was game.
Yeah.
And the other scene that sticks out to me is the casual when he first dons his leather suit.
Mm-hmm.
His tight buns in that costume awaken. No, I'm kidding. There's the scene where he casually takes the lid off the patio heater and just lets the villain rant about his detonator and how he's going to fuck everybody up. And I really enjoy the scene where he just kind of casually turns it into a razor sharp discus.
Yeah.
And just flings it. And that's the end of the hand. The hand just comes
Jumps off
straight
the
off.
man's hand. He usually plays Irish terrorists and
It's
things.
great. He does.
Despite not being great at doing an Irish
That's his
accent.
eternal kind of role to be played. But I just enjoyed that so much. I remember enjoying the action in that film, Michael, up until the final scenes. Stunning. Stunning
I'm going
achievement.
to take your head and stick it up his ass. And then he does it.
But like, Will Smith as a mean drunk is oddly intimidating. You're kind of like, okay.
Well, I think it's the superpowers more than the Will Smith.
That helps.
Because he's pretty scary. And he says a couple of times to people, just casually, like, be careful. I was like, he might kill them, actually.
He might actually do
It's
it.
pretty mean. He doesn't like being called an asshole.
Doesn't like it.
That's the recurring thread of the entire film.
Doesn't like it at all.
Call me an asshole one more time, I dare you. Go on.
And then boom.
Then he throws him up in the
Bloody
sky.
head up an ass.
Yeah, or throwing a French kid into space.
Oh yeah.
Not a strong like in the movie for the French. the French get a bit of.
That's a classic American thing, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? They
As an
love
asshole,
their
he must
they
be
love
French.
their slags towards the French. It's because the French are so much better, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's
Oh
what you're
yeah.
saying.
All right, there he is.
Oh, yeah,
He's back involved. Where do you think Handjob, starring Will J. Smith, fell down?
Oh, nice segue there, Ben. I don't think that the Charlize Theron character was any good.
Yeah, useless. Good. I'm glad we agree on that, Michael. Maybe the first time in a long time that we've agreed entirely on the flaws in a film.
First of all, when she's undercover as the housewife who's worried about Hancock being around her kids,
Bizarre.
she's not very likable.
She isn't.
She's a bit
Bit of a
shrill.
gal.
Yeah, she's not the most crack. And then when it turns out she knew who he was all along, and she also has superpowers. Oh
Not well built.
no, not very well built at all. Very, yeah.
I think that's where it falls down, Michael. I think they felt like they needed a good origin. I don't think they ever needed to worry about too much of an origin with that film. I
Yeah,
thought
it
his
could-
redemption arc was enough.
It could have just been about a guy who's a superhero and an asshole.
Yeah, I think that would have been absolutely fine.
Are they angels? Are they gods? What's going on?
There was no need to introduce why do they become mortal with each other.
So they can fall in love and settle down and have kids and have lives and die.
Get fuck a dude.
What? Fuck a dude.
Fuck a dude. Get fuck a dude.
If they want, yeah.
It's 2020, lads. You can do whatever you like. To quote the Rubber Bands, if you want to fuck a fella, go and fuck a fella. It's great.
Alright.
But sure, look. They let it fall down in the third act there. Bloody swirly tornado. Bloody wreck the city vibes.
Wreck the city, and then they start losing their powers and they get attacked by regular criminals. So I think the whole thing basically starts to fall apart when it becomes, this has to be about something.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, when it was just like, this guy's a superhero and he's a drunk and he's an asshole and this guy is going to try and redeem him. All right, fine. But then, we also have to explain his origins and come up with a way for a threat to be able to physically threaten him in order to have a film.
No
That's where I started losing interest, unfortunately.
Do you know what did it much better, Michael?
Go on.
Bloody Chronicle that you watched this week as well.
Oh, we're just segueing straight into that. All right.
Oh, are we now?
All right.
Did you have a better segue?
Well, we did talk about a running order before the podcast, Benjamin, but
don't
to
listen
hell
to you
with
at the
it.
start of the podcast because you unanimously decide what we're doing.
I also watched Chronicle, Ben, 2012's Chronicle. Have you heard of it?
Did you know?
By director Josh Trank and co-written by your good mate and notorious woman abuser Max Landis.
He's not my good mate.
He is. You're always on the women abusing
What do you
forums.
mean, notorious woman abuser?
Isn't he kind of famous for being a bit of a prick?
Is he?
He's
a bit of a prick.
I think it's the first thing on his Wikipedia page, although that might be unfair to him.
Bit of a prick. Look, Max Landis may or may not be a bit of a prick, but he wrote Chronicle in 2012, Michael. Very similar in terms of colour palette and stuff like that, but
To Hancock.
But to Handy J's.
Well, the big difference with Chronicle, of course, Ben, is it's a found footage film.
Yeah.
But it's not, also. That's a weird thing about this.
Well, he's using the...
Yeah, well, it's a found footage film, but for example, at one stage during the film, one of the cameras is lost and destroyed.
So how would you get that footage?
At no point does the film make a claim to be a found footage film.
It just
It
shoots.
just only shoots through in-universe screens.
viewpoints.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing to do.
At the time.
Yeah. Oh, well, I actually... look, Ben, I'll tell you a
Go on,
secret.
you get
I
in.
really like this film.
Yeah, okay, go on.
I really, really like it.
Get
But
involved.
There is, for example, there's a love interest character.
Yeah.
Lacey, Chasey, Macy, I can't remember her name. I watched it literally yesterday. Ben.
Middle America, Manic Pixie Dream High School girl.
She's not
name.
manic or pixie. She basically, the reason she exists, Ben, is they said, "Oh shit, hold on. If during the final battle, we need to follow one of the characters' perspectives, but the guy with the camera is somewhere else, how are we gonna? Do we have to have him? Let's just give him a girlfriend who films everything as well. Coincidentally,
Nice.
We've done it. We've come up with it, and that's her entire function in the entire film.
Tripod.
Yeah, she's a human tripod.
She's a human
That's it.
Tripod.
That's it. Like
Don't
me.
tripod your women, guys. That'll be next week's topic.
So she's completely pointless.
Go on.
But it has a very generic opening.
Yes.
There's an angsty teen.
Oh.
And there's his cooler cousin who thinks he's
Cooler than he actually is.
He thinks he's too intelligent for high school life.
Oh, God.
And then there's the actual only likable character in the film, Michael B. Jordan.
Michael
B. He's bloody great.
It's the saving grace of everything he's in.
He's brilliant. He plays Steve, And Steve is the most popular kid in school, but he's also nice to everyone.
Steve's all right.
He is all right.
Steve's all right.
He's not a comedy high school bully. And when they accidentally get superpowers, he's nice to everyone.
He's not an absolute pillock.
He's the only nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else turns into a bit of a dick.
And Dane DeHaan.
I don't like Dane DeHaan.
I think he was very good in this up until the end where he starts Dane DeHamming it up.
He do. Oh, very nice. Oh, well played.
See what I've done there?
Well played,
it's basically
young
his
man.
audition for the Green Goblin.
Which was, oh man, what a terrible reveal. The end of Spider-Man.
Well, he was the Green Goblin the whole time.
That was a very interesting film, Michael, and it really does take a more logical route to what would a kid do with superpowers?
Oh, man.
Would he go and save people? Fuck no. There's hormones going on. Bloody high school hierarchies, bloody dominating life.
Benjamin, you say that, but I watched Chronicle yesterday.
Okay, you mentioned that.
They get the superpowers, Ben.
Was it your first time watching Chronicle?
No, I've seen it 6 or 7 times. It's probably my favourite superhero film.
Oh, that's sad.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
What's wrong with that?
There's a few things wrong with that.
There's a few things wrong with the film, but we'll get to those in a minute. But when they get their superpowers and they're filming their superpowers and they're learning how to do the superpowers, it's a really joyful film.
Yes.
When they learn to fly.
Yes.
And they're having fun flying. I was sitting on the couch going, look, they're flying. And I had a huge smile on my face and I was having a great time along with them. And you know what I thought to myself, Ben?
Go on.
It's nothing to do with high school. For one thing, all of the actors are well into their 20s. But for another
Classic
thing,
American conceit.
Ben, if the members of Chambre Biog, our production company, got superpowers, that is exactly what we would do. We would cosplay. Is everything okay? You look like you've got a serious message.
Everything's
there.
fine.
Everything all right?
Everything's fine.
Does everyone still have their butts?
Everyone's still butt intact.
Good.
It's all good.
So, I mean, if I got superpowers, I would definitely go to a supermarket and cause minor mischief.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
In fact, you go everywhere and cause minor mischief.
That's what I do.
That's why when the alien came a year ago and said, "Look, I'm going to give you two.
Do you want some superpowers?
You're actually the galaxy's most popular podcast."
No, we're not.
And we've decided
just outside Earth.
Outside of Earth.
We don't
outside
get the,
of Earth.
We don't get the counts.
He said our galaxy's most popular podcast. We pirated on
very small galaxy
on Backwater.
One of the smallest galaxies.
One of the smallest galaxies. A perfect gallery. Nothing wrong. Perfect galaxy.
I went to Donald Trump as well.
You did, yeah. It was weird. It's a perfectly adequate galaxy. Not the biggest, but the best. He offered us powers, and I said, you know what? I'm going to spare the world.
I don't think it'd be worth it. But yes, his descent into madness is, if anything, a little quick.
It's a bit sharp.
It's a bit sharp. It is a bit sharp.
It is set up. It's a real right turn.
It is it isn't. It is clearly set up the whole time, and it does lag a little bit during his descent to madness, and the acting in the denouement, the final battle between
the screaming
Dane DeHaan.
Don't
make me do it, Andrew.
Yeah, it's always a bit much.
It's a bit mad.
I think if there's anything to be said about movies from the bloody era of comic books, not comic books, is the third act's a bit weak.
The third act is a little bit weak. Basically, the movie Chronicle is absolutely pure enjoyment up until the point where they make the mistake, and it's a very important dramatic moment, and it's very important in driving the plot forward, but they make the mistake of killing off the only likable person in it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And they probably weren't to know when it was written
who would be the most likable character.
Although
I could have told you.
Steve is written to be the most likable, and then they also cast the most likable actor.
Yes.
So, he's definitely the most likable. And I suppose it's supposed to be a bit of a gut punch that
we lose him
and things start spiraling out of control then shortly afterwards. But also, we lose the most likable character.
Yeah, it's not great.
So it's like, oh.
It's not great.
He was the glue that held it all together.
He was the glue that held it all together. Now it's just two cousins that don't get on.
Yeah, now it's just useless Matt and moany Andrew.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Michael, to quote one of the wiser of the two podcast co-hosts here on this podcast,
yes, me.
Endings are hard. That's exactly who I'm quoting.
Yeah. Having said that, Ben, I quite like the ending. He goes mad.
Will you pick a tone?
No, I'm fine. It's
Jesus.
It's not as fun and enjoyable anymore. But at least it wraps up nicely.
Just don't do a podcast with someone like Mick, guys. Just stay
impa-
away from it.
he
He's
gets
just
impaled-
so contrary.
He gets impaled through a spike, which is always good.
You enjoy a spike impaling.
Everybody loves to see someone getting impaled in a spike and then dangling there like a dead person going,
Oh,
I'm on a
bloody
spike.
spike. Who
I'm on a
put this spike here?
Oh, I wish I wasn't on this spike.
I wish I could have paid more attention to this bloody spike.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that spike. But you know what, though? It's a very good film. It's one of my favourites.
Bloody great film.
And you know what I really like about it?
What?
When there's two, it really makes you, it gives you an appreciation of the phrase larger than life. You know how superheroes are always larger than life?
Yeah.
And you always hear that and you go, yeah, they're larger than life, whatever 1950s called, they want their cliches back. When in this movie...
Oh, you really got them.
I got them. I showed them who was the boss. In this movie, when Andrew and Matt are fighting at the Seattle Space Needle, I also like that it's set in Seattle. Yeah, they're inty busy teeny weeny little
The
dudes.
two people smacking each other around and it's at the Space Needle.
But they're so tiny.
Yeah.
And they're not larger than life.
Not at all.
And it makes it a very realistic, I think, depiction of what it would be like if there were superhero people in real life. It's like, they're very far away. What's going on? Or even when Andrew drops his dad out of the hospital and Matt flies up and surprises everyone, a lot of people don't even notice.
Yeah.
Because you probably necessarily wouldn't.
Nobody
really.
looks up.
Yeah.
Michael, to quote another great comic book, Invincible, nobody looks up.
Nobody ever looks up.
Nobody ever looks up.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. I think from an Irish point of view of two Dublin men who live in a city where there's quite a lot of open sky, we do look up quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine if your entire world was concrete buildings just towering above you, you probably wouldn't look up that often.
Anyway,
There's no need to look up.
It's probably set in Seattle.
But it's set in Seattle.
The Space Needle.
Very rainy.
Very rainy, very grim.
Very rainy, very grim.
And everyone's unpleasant.
Do you know what did have a great third act, Michael?
Oh, very good.
Bloody 2004 is The Incredible. Wonderful third act, Michael.
Now, Ben.
Yes.
We earlier kind of wrote off Blumhouse's... Was it Blumhouse? Yeah, it was. Blumhouse's... What was it called? Brightburn. Because it was essentially a Superman film.
Yes.
What is your contention that The Incredibles counts
as one of these?
And it's not just the Fantastic Four.
The realistic themes that were introduced by Brad Bird throughout the entire film that make it a much more realistic thing, more in line with bloody... What was that yoke that you had there?
Huh?
What was that one that we just talked about?
Chronicle. It's not like Chronicle.
It's not exactly like Chronicle, but it is.
It doesn't have to be realistic either.
It is bloody mature, mature compared to that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of stones to it. I like how he distilled a lot of the 50s tropes into a very kind of tight film.
Tell us very quickly, Ben, what is The Incredibles? Because I know
The Incredibles is about a family of five, who are living in a world where superheroes have been made illegal.
Like Watchmen.
But what they didn't bloody tell you is, Michael, only Mum and Dad, bloody Bob and Helen Parr, superheroes, two of the most famous superheroes on the face of the planet pre-banning.
Woman.
Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible.
Okay.
And they have three kids. They have Violet, they have Dash, and they have Jack. Now, to be fair... Naming your child with super speed Dash, not very
Bit
subtle.
on the nose. I would have called them Sir Runs-a-Lot.
Violet is named after Ultraviolet, which is invisible
light. Very clever.
Very like Violet herself. And Jack, we think is a normal baby, right up until that final. Spoilers for a movie that came out in 2004.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
We bloody thought that he was a bloody thing, and he has powers at the end. He has all the powers at the end.
Yes.
All of them. So Mr. Incredible is your typical strongman, and Elastigirl is fantastic.
He's what in comic parlance is called a brick.
A brick? Is he a brick? Is that what it's called?
He's big, he's strong, he's invulnerable.
He's big, he's strong, and that's exactly right.
That's exactly his powers. Right. He's a brick.
I suppose what marks it out for me, Michael, is...
As opposed to Hancock, Ben. Hancock in superhero parlance is a flying brick.
He's a flying brick.
Because he's big, he's strong, he's invulnerable.
Like you, when you're irritated at somebody, you chuck bricks at people.
I don't throw bricks at people.
You do.
I throw barbs.
Barbs.
Yeah, witty barbs.
Let me catch you with one of my trademark barbs.
When I get you, Oscar Pistorius.
Coming at you. Oh.
No, girlfriend.
That's it from us this week, guys.
2004, The Invincibles.
Anyway, one of the things that I really enjoy about that is the first two acts have some of the most adult themes, Michael, that I've ever seen in a Pixar film. Now, look, adult themes are nothing new, Michael. They're around everywhere. Some would argue that this podcast has adult themes.
Yeah, we're always talking about Oscar Pistorius.
But what I enjoyed seeing, and something I hadn't seen before in 2004. Now, 2004, Michael, is pre-superheroes for me. I was no great superhero fan, was I?
You were.
In 2004.
You were more into Home and Away, the television
I was more
series.
into Home and Away or Neighbours, if I could get them on.
One or the other.
Oh, shame on you if you got me started on the bloody differences between Home and Away and Neighbours. Because many people are like, those are exactly the same. And I was like, no, one's coastal, the other isn't. Get the fuck out of here.
Home and Away is more teen oriented as well.
Yes, it is. It's for the teens.
Whereas Neighbours is more of a family drama.
Yeah, I was more into The Den at the time. I was 13 years old in 2004. Michael.
Very good.
13 years old.
So you were born in 1991.
Pre-superhero for me. It was pre-superhero for me. I got into my comic books when I was around 16, 17, Michael. Anywho.
Yes.
Not relevant.
No.
This was.
I thought it
didn't catch my attention when it first came out.
It didn't.
Well, I went to see it and I enjoyed it because it's a Pixar film. 13-year-old young men enjoy Pixar films.
Do they?
As far as I know, they do, don't they?
Do they still? I thought they were into drugs now.
I think it's all drugs and e-girls, isn't it?
Yeah, e-girls.
Yeah, drugs and e-girls. Thoughts. Interthoughts. And I wasn't aware of all the subtle little things that were being done there. And it was only in later years that people called it a masterpiece, and I went back and looked at it. Michael, Act 1 and Act 2 is an adult drama with superheroes as a kind of backdrop to it. One is about a man who's way past his prime.
Why are you looking at me?
Bob Parr. No, I can't help but look at you, Michael.
We're sitting opposite each other.
Yeah. A man who's past his prime, and I think it probably taps into a very American thing of that kind of person who peaked in high school,
and
maybe is now in a dead end insurance job, just in the way.
Tell us about that time you scored 4 touchdowns, Bob.
45-year-old Bob with Helen and 2 kids. It's very much a middle America thing as well. His wife is trying to hold it together for the family. He's jaded. He can't discuss any of these issues with his wife. He's leading a bloody double life, Michael, on the side. Gets back into training, accepts a secret job. What happens, Michael? That marriage starts to break down. Why, Michael? Because there's no communication. What does his wife end up assuming?
He's having an affair.
He's having an affair, Michael.
He's not having an affair, though.
He's having an affair, Michael. Who puts that in kids' movies, Michael? Because some of those kids went home and looked at their parents and went,
had affairs, yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. My dad's not always around. My mum's often quite stressed with a bottle of Chardonnay.
What's going on?
Some touchy-feely subjects going on there. And there's a lot going on there. And there's a now bitter kid, turns out to be the villain, Syndrome, who I quite enjoyed. The bitter sidekick. But remember, Michael, I didn't know any of these tropes when I watched it originally.
The bitter sidekick coming back.
The bitter sidekick coming back to bite the hero in the ass. Kinky sidekicks. But look, that's just the way the cookie crumbled. But I think it's a really good distillation of all those themes and a more realistic look at them. Do you know what doesn't do that, Michael?
What?
The Incredibles 2.
Not very good, I
Fucking
felt.
phone in.
Yeah, wasn't great, was it?
Not memorable.
What now? Really not. Except there was a big fight in a boat.
Yeah, but...
Or a ship?
They say one of the many questions left behind by The Incredibles 2.
They say that a ship can carry a boat, but a boat can't carry a ship.
Is that true? Well, now.
So it was probably a ship.
Well, hey now.
You're an all-star.
I've learned something today.
Let's go. Benjamin.
Go on. Hey now, you're a sailor.
See what you've done. We had a few suggestions on the gram. Most of them, in fairness, came from Infinity Action Figure Art,
who is a great fan of the podcast. We really appreciate your support. Thanks a million.
Great channel. Did a very good. He does very good action figure photography.
Good action figure things.
All in camera, Ben. I know I say that every time, but it's very good. There's a very good one.
In camera effects are special as, Michael. Difficult to pull off. Takes finesse. Takes skill.
Now there's a very good one this week about Wolverine and Sabretooth about to strike each other in a battle of ancient enemies. Anyway, Ben,
I'm going to take a look.
And he suggested Heroes. And I thought, very good shout. From that same period where there was a want for superheroics, but a lack of will to do the real famous superheroics, either through legal wranglings, licensing, people thinking it wouldn't work. And I thought, that's a very good shout. I'll watch a couple of episodes of the show Heroes. And then I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not watching Heroes.
No, because Heroes ended up having
Heroes can
a real
suck
flop.
An egg.
The writer's strike just destroyed Heroes for everyone.
Also, Ben, it was a real classic. That period of TV, Lost really stands out as the the paragon of this. But
mystery.
They set everything up and they hadn't got any answers.
So it's just that thing of get some words down on paper.
Get some things, get some compelling mysteries. Save the cheerleaders, save the world. In what sense? I don't know. It doesn't matter, actually. As it turns out, it's all fine.
I feel like that was a real watershed moment for a lot of people when it came to watching TV, where they're like, the writers know what they're doing. The writers have a plan. There's no way they'd be greenlit without a plan. And then it's like, oh no, they didn't have a plan.
They didn't have a plan.
They didn't have a plan. I mean, nowadays we're surprised when a writer does have a plan.
No, I think we've come through that now.
Full circle?
I think we have come full circle.
Oh, good.
I think we trust now. I trust that Star Trek Picard is going to turn out to have a plan.
That's because we're doing tight miniseries these days, Michael, and we don't have to do 22 episode runs of things.
I think this might be why, though. I think Heroes might be one of the reasons for that.
What a healthy model for television.
But the thing was, Ben, before that, things were a lot more episodic.
Yes, that's true.
So Heroes really represents that transitional period of TV and making.
What are the other big things about Heroes? Massive cast.
Huge cast.
Massive cast.
Ginormous.
Ensemble
Greg
cast.
Grunberg.
Not unlike Lost.
Hayden Panettiere.
Massive casts.
The guy who plays Skylar.
It was also the last of the kind of... Siler, yeah. Zachary Quinto.
Galifianakis.
Zachary Quinto. Also played Spock.
Yeah.
In the not as good as Picard.
Yeah, the guy who does the voice of Iron Man in Marvel cinematic stuff, in Marvel animated stuff.
You nailed it, good man.
Adrian Pischetti. No, Adrian something.
It means nothing to me.
He can fly.
Padalecki?
No.
Anyway, look,
not great.
It's also kind of the last of that era of generic white guy casting.
No, it isn't.
Where a mildly handsome...
There's loads of people in that of different races and nationalities.
That's true, actually. That's
maybe
true.
not loads. Probably still
I was thinking
majority
Supernatural.
You
get one person of color for every 16 episodes. Oh yeah, there's other people in America, and demons can be. Usually it's a racial thing as well. Usually it's like, oh, it's an Indian monster, so it should be an Indian.
Now, if you want to talk about superheroes,
go on,
and white people, you have to go back to 2001's Mutant X, Ben.
Oh yeah,
have you ever seen?
You wanted to talk about this.
Have you ever seen 2001 Mutant X?
But that's an X-Men spin-off, is it not?
No.
Okay.
Legally, Ben. No. Legally, officially, and quality-wise, no.
Okay. Every other sense?
Not really, no. I mean, it's not set in the Marvel Universe, and there aren't Marvel mutants. There are new mutants in it, who are the product of genetic engineering.
New Mutants, the upcoming film from...
No, but yes, but no. I'm doing a little wink. And it's about a man, and he is a kind of wise father figure.
Mick Leonard?
No, to a group of... His name's Adam, I think. And
Adam
he's
Leonard.
Yes. He's a kind of wise father figure to a group of new mutants who are learning to use their powers in a world that hates and mistrusts them. He's not in a wheelchair, though.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a hot dang second there, pal.
Wait a second. So the pilot episode, Ben, revolves around, I think her name is Emma, but that might be the actress's name. No, I think it's the character's name.
Emma Frost.
Emma, and she's a kind of telepath.
Emma Frost.
She's on the run from government thugs.
Emma Frost.
Who are trying to get her. No, it's Jean Grey. She's Jean Grey.
She's like a tight white leather spandex
No.
Oh.
Like
not Emma Frost.
Early 2000s, like calf-high boots and...
I bet you wore heels a lot.
I don't know. I don't think so. Not in the early 2000s. Maybe little mini heels. Very bad fashion in the early 2000s.
Oh, man.
Lots of leather trenches.
Michael.
Yes.
Just very quickly.
Yes.
It is X-Men adjacent. If you want a good giggle at 90s fashion, just type in X-Men premiere, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen.
Why, what's going on?
Look at the fashion that was brought to the X-Men 2000 premiere. Just give that a look. Michael, it's a sight to behold. So basically this show that you're talking about, Michael, I remember seeing it vaguely. The main man is a super genius. That's his mutant power, isn't it?
No, he's not really a mutant.
Oh,
you don't get. He is a genius,
okay.
But he was involved in the program to make mutants, and he's atoning for that by collecting and protecting them, basically.
By giving them an L save.
Yeah, so he has a team, and the team are this milks-up telepathic lady.
Milks-up, huh?
You know, the classic...
Yeah, I have such great power, but what will I do with it?
And she's always fainting and going, his very high waistbanded trouser.
It's ridiculous. Halle Berry wore a bikini.
Yes, I remember. And then there's the man who actually... There's one guy who has pretty interesting powers.
Oh.
He essentially has the Vision's powers.
Oh.
he can turn intangible or incredibly dense.
He has some density manipulation
he has
powers.
density manipulation powers.
Can he manipulate other things or just himself?
Yes, he can manipulate other things and himself. But he can, and I really like this actually, he can only do it for as long as he can hold his breath.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't
That's
it?
a good limit.
Isn't that and it's a logical limit.
That's a good limit.
Isn't it?
Yes, because you need a lot of oxygen. And if you were changing your density, you wouldn't be able to breathe properly.
You wouldn't be able to breathe properly because you know what I mean? Isn't that, it's quite good actually. And they use him pretty well.
Good
like
limit.
a car nearly hits him and he turns intangible and the car goes through him. And then people start shooting at him and he gets the people behind him and goes rigid and the bullets deaden on him. It
Gets hard, does he?
He gets very hard.
Yeah, it gets hard. Yeah, he does.
But, and then, unfortunately, the others are so fucking generic. There's a lady who can do a high kick and she has cat-like powers.
Bloody spinny cat powers.
Yeah,
because
she
it's a
can-
women and women are feminine and felines are feminine. And that's
she
how we're
can-
going to align those
She
tracks.
can do a jump and a high kick.
Oh, yeah.
And
fuck's
she can
sake.
smell better and stuff. She essentially has the
She's
same...
got pheromones. Oh,
She-
such a bullshit power.
She essentially has the exact same powers as Dark Angel, as Jessica Alba in the TV show Dark Angel. And then
pheromone.
there's the other guy, there's the last guy who looks exactly like... Do you remember the generic guy in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, I didn't watch Agents of
Agent
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ward. He looks exactly like him. And he has the most generic superpowers of all.
Go on.
He can do an electricity.
Oh, I hate those ones.
Oh. Yeah. There was a guy...
Is he conflicted because his powers can kill people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he might be the baddie, or he might be just a wild boy.
Well, he might be a wild boy.
He's so boring.
Oh, he's a TV bad boy.
Yeah. Oh.
Where we're sitting in the corner and being like, ugh.
Oh, don't worry.
Is a personality.
I'll do an electricity. Whereas the guy who can change into densities, he's essentially Cyclops. He's like,
Trying to wrangle the team together. Let's be buds.
We'll do it.
That holding your breath is a superpower. Do I have any superpowers? Hang on, let me.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have anything music.
Now I'm going to have to put the theme music on.
Ladies and gentlemen, what have we missed?
Are we wrapping up?
I think we can't we?
Yeah.
We're on the wrap up phase.
Anyway, there
have
was
you more to say about Mutant X?
Yeah, they were sued by Marvel. Marvel were like, you cannot promote this as an X-Men spin-off. And they were like, yeah, we might though. And Marvel were like, you better not.
You better
And they were
not.
like, yeah, all right, but we might. And they're like, you better not do it. Don't do it. And they're like, okay, we won't.
You fucking do it.
We won't do it. And they're doing a little winky face.
Like, why are you winking at me? It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, but we're not going to do
There
anything.
definitely is nothing to do with X-Men.
Nothing to do with X-Men.
Little winky wink.
Little bloody winky wink, handy J's, and bloody handcocks. Right.
It was about as good as the show The Gifted.
The Gifted was all right by
But
the end of
was-
it, wasn't it?
It was. Imagine Ben, if The Gifted had been made 15 years earlier, 16 years
With
earlier,
less of a budget.
with a lower budget and off-brand characters.
Yeah, that sounds
There
about
you
right.
go, Mutant X.
There you go, Mutant X.
Ends on a cliffhanger.
Cancel shows. They're the worst.
Oh, we did that, didn't we? We did an episode.
The
about
worst,
shows that
the
ended
most
on a
frustrating
cliffhanger.
cliffhangers. Look, you can take a look back there. Ladies and gentlemen,
All right,
what
you wrap us up there, Ben.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have anything music.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Now to do it again. Now the theme music's going to be in this episode 3 times.
Oh yeah,
People are going to be
that's
very
my
angry.
superpower. Theme music for as long as I'm going to hold my breath. Ladies and gentlemen, what did we miss?
Lots
Is
of
there
things.
any?
Are you not
The listeners.
listeners.
What did we miss? What are some of your favourite non-comic book inspired TV or movie properties? Give us a shout down below.
Dark Angel, I suppose.
Dark Angel, I suppose. Again, we're not talking to you, Michael. The episode's over, so you have to keep your pop culture mouth shut until next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Seomra Beag. This is the Michael and Benjamin's podcast.
That's new.
SeomraBeag.com if you want to get in touch with us. SeomraBeag.com.
Means tiny room in Irish.
Means tiny room in Irish. You
That
can
was
get in
new,
touch with
Ben,
us
when you
there.
said we are
And
Seomra Beag.
you can find all our different material. He's chuffed with that.
That's good, isn't it?
He likes the air of professionalism that goes along with that. You can get in touch with us there. If you want to keep in touch with all our various podcasts, we have 2 at the moment. It's Michael and Benjamin's podcast and Collecting Issues. You can get in touch with us there. If you prefer a more casual approach to your pop culture interactions, take a look at our Instagram, Seomra Beag, SEOMRABEAG. You can take a look at us there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us an L follow. We could use it.
Follow.
Or share it with your pals.
Yeah.
Share it with your pals.
Not
Get
if
the
you're
word
in
out
that
there.
other bloody little tiny universe. The main one.
The main universe. Like if you're the Backwater Galaxy, that's the language they speak in the Backwater universe. So thanks very much, lads. Moving on from there, guys, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us an L bloody. That was the chair, not Michael. Give us an L review, a rambling review, just like the rambling podcast that we have. Give us a shout over there. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe and like in a classic sense.
Hit the bell icon.
Hit the bell icon.
And so on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your support all the time. Do give us a listen and do give us suggestions for new episodes if you have anything you'd like to hear discussed on
next week
the
we'll probably be talking about Birds of Prey.
More than likely, yes. We'll have to go and bloody see that.
It's out this week.
That's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
What?